Okay, good day, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about an important topic on how to meditate. And I've got a website as well. It's called dharmaonline.net. And I mean, you can always go and, visit this website. And to understand other topics on meditation, yoga, and all these other different spiritual matters. Okay, so I'm just going to go briefly on today just on the topic of meditation, right? And let's move to the next slide. Yeah, okay. So the first slide I've got here is a it looks like it's a tree obviously, and it's showing you the various different steps here. The first step is it's called the eight limbs of yoga, and I've got a little sort of a circle, black circle that's showing dhyana, which is also if you look at clearly it says meditation there. It's basically there's a black circle box looking at what's going on there. So basically what it means is that you know people generally think that meditation anybody can just do meditation and there's nothing to it, and just meditate, just close your eyes and just relax, and that's meditation. Well, that's unfortunately, that's just not what meditation is, okay? And there's a purpose to meditation as well, which I'm going to explain, and people not really aware of it to these days. Well, the main aim of meditation, according to the Raja Yoga, the Ashtanga, eight limbs of yoga, the path of yoga, is that it's the means really to attain what's known as samadhi, or a blissful state, or super consciousness, which is really the goal of yoga. The goal of yoga generally is to attain the blissful awareness state in through meditation, and it's known as samadhi. Okay, but as you look carefully in this drawing, it's clearly showing that basically in order for you to obtain a fruit from a tree, what do you need to do? You need to actually grow the tree first, right? And that's what it's showing. If you don't have your base, how can you attain the fruit, which is the goal of yoga? Right? So if you're trying to obtain the fruit, you have to put the hard yards. Without the hard yards, you can't really. It's just the way everything is in nature. And if you don't put up, you just when you go to work, you don't put up effort. When you don't put in effort, you won't get good results. And that's always the way it is. And it's the same thing with everything, and the same thing with meditation as well, and yoga. And so, and it's pretty much universal. This concept. It's not applying to any particular religion or any particular various sect of meditation and various different aspect of meditation. It's for everybody. So what it's saying here, that the basics, obviously you need to have your basics. You need to have a strong root in order to obtain the fruit, right? So your roots actually here in this case is the code of conduct. I guess you call yamas, self. Then you got your niyamas. So basically, these are like your detachments. If you look into the Buddhist, you know, teachings, you'll know that detachment is one of the most important thing. And these yamas, niyamas are basically the part of that. So they're just code of conducts and self-discipline that an individual would need to, oblige with. They need to practice in order to slowly get that stage, fruitful state, the blissful state known as samadhi. Okay, which basically is the awareness of the blissful, supernatural soul that resides within each one of us. That's what it is. So, I'm not going to go into much detail, but obviously you'll see that all these things such as meat eating, sexual intercourse, and all these lustful thoughts, really these needs to be sort of controlled, and unless you actually stop it at a physical level, you're not going to attain much depth in your meditation. And so basically meditation means to sort of have concentration, focus at a particular point, And if you indulge in all these things, then it's just obviously, just makes sense to you that, hey, how can I actually meditate, right? Regardless of whatever else they say. So, vegetarianism, all these things are very important because it affects the mind, and all these things like lustful behavior, etc. So, yeah, it's something to look at. I mean, obviously, then you got different stages here, interesting yamas, niyams. Then you got asanas, which is exercises, physical postures, like stretching, all these things that we were familiar with. Then you got the pranayama, which is the breath, because the breath is also, it says here clearly, the breath is a bridge between the body and mind, and pranayama, which is the how to breathe, and all these breathing techniques really help you to, develop, develop your meditation, because breath is important, and obviously withdrawal of senses and pratyahara. Then you got concentration, 1 point concentration to help you to meditate. And then only you'll hopefully, then there's the final stage in the samadhi. Hopefully everybody attains that. It's a very difficult stage, but once you've practiced all this, it should be a lot easier. And that's really the goal, okay? So, being said that, I'm just going to go today, I'm just going to be, explaining some few techniques that I've personally experienced and learned myself and practiced, and I've found it personally very beneficial. And given that there's so many different techniques out there today, the techniques that I'm going to be presenting here actually are quite valid, and because I've personally witnessed spiritual experiences or of the divine or anything like that through these techniques, and they're very powerful if done with diligence and consistency. The first technique really is known as thoughtless awareness meditation. What it really means is basically, it's basically a very, very simple technique. In fact, I would say it's one of the more the most basic, the fundamental aspects of meditation. In order for any meditation really to be successful, one should not have thoughts, and one should not be thinking. Because why am I saying this? Okay, the number one is that, why do we do meditation? What's the difference between meditation and sleep? See, the main difference really is that in meditation, you are actually focused on a particular point in your mind, or a particular point, or wherever you're focused, you're concentrated. Whereas in your sleep, you think there's no difference, but when you're sleeping, what's happening is that you're dreaming, so the mind is never still, it's still restless. And the whole point of meditation is to still the mind to realize the truth within. Okay, that's what it is. And this technique is a very simple technique. So what it is thoughtless awareness meditation, right? So what you do is, generally you would just close your eyes, and simply you would not think of anything else. You would just close your eyes. Just close your eyes, and think of nothing. And as soon as you'll notice, in the beginning it'll be difficult, because sometimes you'll just have thoughts coming in through. Right? So how would you deal with it? The way to deal with it is, don't open the eyes. Keep the eyes closed. But once you close your eyes, what you do is that you would take a deep breath and exhale like sharply, like that, So you inhale deep and exhale like that. So what it does is that it helps to get rid of these negative clutters in the mind through the medium of breath. This whole concept of pranayama is to bring the life force within. So there's a connection between the breath and the mind that we need. That there's a science behind that, which is great. So what it is, that really helps you. So your negative thoughts generally will go away if you try to do that, and you can then restart your meditation. But ideally what you would do is, in order for you to actually do well in the meditation, you must oblige with the yamas, niyamas, or the restraints. Like indulgence in all these different food products, intoxicants, meat, fish, eggs, whatever, all these things, and all these indulgence, lustful indulgence. This needs to be first of all controlled, because as soon as you're still attached to these things, your mind is always, the subconscious mind is always active, and then you can't get anywhere. If you really want to develop yourself in meditation and get somewhere spiritually, you'll have to first of all control everything. All these media, TV, CVs, all these things are just delusional things that's bombarding on one's thought and taking away from us from the reality. All these conditionings that's happening in the real world out there is not real. They're just virtual. They're just disillusionments to the mind. Okay, and that is really the goal. So that's the whole idea. So once when the individual starts practicing thoughtless awareness meditation, he will see the benefits. So once you close your eyes and you start to just meditate, just thinking of nothing, and just still the mind, you will see eventually, not in the beginning, but once you're able to once you're competent enough, you can actually, practice this for, once you're able to practice it for long periods of time, right? Then what you will see is that you might just perceive some sort of sensations appearing, like they could be anywhere. Just could be just sharp sensations, could be dull sensations, could be just things fluttering in the, impressions with, I don't know, whatever you could call them. All you'll feel these little sensations across the body, in the head, or wherever. And the idea is not to pay attention to them. The concept of impermanence is not to pay attention to any of these samskaras or these impressions, that you can actually feel them when you're in meditation. So what's happening is that the more you meditate, all these negative things, that's clutters in the mind, actually start to dissolve and disappear just because you're not attached to it. And that's the idea. But one does not need to, examine the body or anything like that. The idea is to just observe whatever there is without thinking of anything else. And ideally, you would not, you would not think of any other thing, think of the body, etc. Just close your eyes and think of nothing. That's thoughtless awareness meditation, right? And a variant of that is obviously the idea to actually concentrate. See, you can either think of nothing, or you can actually concentrate on a particular point and always focus at that particular point. If you're losing focus, and if you're thinking of, if your mind's cluttered with something, you can always focus on a particular point. And I would obviously recommend you to focus particular on this region, which is known as the Ajna chakra. Okay. This region here, just in between the eyebrows, I'd say, that's known as the Ajna chakra. So when you close your eyes, you can gaze upwards and just focus on that particular point. If you're starting to think of too many things, so that is actually this is known as the spiritual seat of the human body, where basically the seat of God or something. So it's a highly spiritually powerful state. And once one is able to concentrate on that particular point, people would start to see the spiritual sort of energy within them. They'll feel difference. There's a difference there, because it's a powerful state. It's known as, in Hinduism, it's known as Shiva. There's a third eye. That's known as the third eye, the spiritual eye. So focusing on that particular point will help you to, will bring spiritual powers, I guess, a little bit, not all, but you need to do it consistently. And then what it does is helps you to fight the negativity. That's all it is. This focusing on the spiritual eye can actually expand and destroy all these negative things that's in your mind. This is the whole point of meditation, to destroy all this virtual conditioning we've had. And it's actually sitting in your subconscious mind. They're actually impressions and layers sitting there, and this meditation technique, even focusing on the spiritual eye, will actually help to destroy, because it's like the divine energy provoked within you. So all these negative, evil things are destroyed when the divinity is awakened. And the divinity can be only awakened when the mind is still, because the Lord, as they say, is within us, but everything is covered by delusion. So that's what it is. Okay, and therefore we can attain different spiritual states of freedom. Now, meditation with sound, okay, and this is something that actually people have talked about, and there are different people who've experimented with this as well. It's not really familiar, I guess, in the public, but it's something that I've also personally experimented with, and I've seen phenomenal benefits. And this is one of those techniques that people not familiar with in the West much, but it has profound spiritual benefits if done properly. Okay, number one, why is it so important, and why is it so effective? Sorry. So basically, this meditation with sound, using headphones in particular, is highly effective. Because why? Because number one is that, say, it's all about concentration. Say if you could concentrate just without anything, then you wouldn't have to worry, right? Because you have excellent concentration. But many people don't, especially in these days when people have to work, go to church, they go to everywhere, and they come to home, they're tired, they can't focus, they can't meditate. But what the sound meditation on sound using headphones does, it's a brilliant sort of a discovery, really. And what it does, it actually so basically you just plug in the headphones, right? Number one, you close your eyes, the same thing, and you do not think. Basically, it's the same thing as the thoughtless awareness meditation, because this is just a variant of that. And in fact, all other meditations generally are variants of that particular, the basic meditation, which is thoughtless awareness meditation. Any meditation where you have too many thoughts involved and they teach you some stuff, that's not meditation, because meditation is either focusing on one particular point and not thinking of anything else, right? So in this one, what you do is you just plug in your headphones and listen to a track, a soothing track. Now, particularly the best meditation, best soundtrack is actually something related to divine chants, because there are divinity can be experienced through, chanting the name of God. There's some energies provoked that people do not know that, and there's some energies provoked to these divine chants from various different monks, or etc. These are beneficial as well. But not only that, is that any other sort of sound that has some divine chants or anything like that, or even divine sounds like just some music rhythms, of even natural nature sounds can also do it. But nature sounds generally do not have that divinity. There's no link there. I cannot see that link personally, so I don't personally meditate on just natural sounds, but you can as well. But if you want to experience, have connection with the divine, you need to actually listen to, some actual recorded chants like Om chants, or all these different chants, Vedic chants, and all these chants, because there's certain vibrations that emit from these sounds of mantras, especially Sanskrit mantras, that it actually has a direct, profound effect on the consciousness and helps to awaken different states of the mind if listened to carefully. So you would basically, or you can only listen to some melodies, but related to divine melodies, something like that. Anyway, and so it doesn't matter if it's Christian chants, Hindu chants, Buddhist chants, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. Yeah, I mean, you need to experiment and play around with what sounds are effective for you, and even could be just even sounds of nature. That's also another beautiful one. Just meditating on tranquility. Regardless, any track, any soothing track, that's obviously nothing to do with all this modern junk, and anything to do with these modern junk like pop, rock, etc., hip hop. They're just destroying consciousness, obviously. So we're not bothered about those ones. But any other sounds that have some sort of a divine presence in them, and you can feel it, you can listen to it, and actually meditate. And once you plug in this headphones and sound, and you close your eyes, what happens is automatically you enter this virtual atmosphere, environment, and you're encapsulated in this, basically you're encapsulated in this virtual sort of environment, and your thoughts, you won't have many thoughts because your thoughts are pretty much blocked out, because of these sounds. You're just thinking about the sounds, thinking about the pleasant sounds, really. So therefore, your thoughts generally don't seem to appear when you listen to these sounds, and because of that, you can just listen to the sounds and your focus is phenomenal. It's just 10 times more effective than any other ones. I mean, you can even check in Google and type binaural beats. This is the sort of a scientific studies done on these things, binaural beats and brainwave entrainment. So basically, they've actually done studies to see that people can attain meditative states of equivalent to that of monks who've done for many years meditation just by listening to some sort of a track. It just sort of changes your brainwave pattern, and you suddenly enter that high state by just listening to those sounds. So you can even listen to these brainwave tracks, but they're not really focused towards divinity, but they're also kind of effective. But my focus here is for you to connect with the supreme goal of spiritual realization, which is one with the infinite. And in order to find that blissful state is known as samadhi, you need to listen to chants that are connected with divine, at least, to actually experience that. Because if there is no element of bhakti or devotion to God, one can never approach God, because you need to have that feeling for the divine. You need to have that connection. Okay. And this third one, I guess, is the most common one, actually. It's known as mantra meditation, chanting the name of God. Obviously, in the West, it's mostly popularized by the Hare Krishna chants. And I guess it's not that not that popular maybe as much as it was before, but still, it's still prevalent. But what's the underlying principle behind the mantra meditation? Well, the mantra meditation, is about the primary thing is about is about meditating on the name or names of God. And so if you look into the ancient Vedic texts, right, from India and Sanatana Dharma texts, you'll see that every single pronunciation of their vocabulary in Sanskrit, especially that the ones that are used like focused, emphasized. There are different mantras that have emphasized, such as the Gayatri mantra, the Shiva mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, and all these different mantras, sacred mantras, have a specific power in once the individual chants. There's some specific. It has actually, I've experienced these effects on the mind, and they actually provoke these divine energies. Not only that, as soon as you chant any name of God, it actually doesn't have to be a mantra. Ideally, it would be a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya or the Gayatri mantra or any of the Hare Krishna mantra. Any sort of a mantra, especially in Sanskrit, has great power, but it does not necessarily even have to be. If you have faith, if you're a Christian background or anything, if you have some faith, then all you would do is chant the name of Lord Jesus, for instance. So if you're a Christian, you chant Allah's name, or Jew, you chant something related, and I guess anything. So basically the idea is that if you think of the divine and chant the name of divine consistently on a regular basis, regardless of whatever name you chant, you will see benefits. And this is one of the most easiest thing to do, actually, really. Out of all meditation techniques, the mantra meditation is probably the most easiest, because there's nothing you need to do. The way to do mantra meditation is ideally what you do is you'd buy a bead that I've just shown here, like these beads, these mantra meditation beads. And you can get them. The one that I'd probably recommend is called Rudraksha Mala. It's probably the best one, but you can buy anything. It doesn't matter. The idea is to have that in your hand, not on the. Sorry, I've just got this picture where he's wearing it, but you can wear it. But ideally, when you chant, you just have it in your hand and you just keep count. You just just move it with your hands every time you chant one round, one of the mantra. You just keep moving on, and there's 108 sort of beads. So basically, it's not about the beads, but and times, but you just keep chanting, and you close your eyes, and you're sitting, just a yogic posture, just the way you'd see, Buddha chant or sit, for instance, and just close your eyes comfortably. Just close your cross-legged, and just close your eyes comfortably. And if you want, you can even, put rest on have something against the back, so you can sit comfortably, and you just chant. Close the eyes and just chant the name. Say Om Namah Shivaya. I mean, that's one of the most powerful mantras. Is actually, if you don't know any of them, probably one of the most effective I'd recommend is the one called Om Namah Shivaya, which is actually one of the core mantras, and it's prescribed in the Vedic texts as well. So what it is, just close your eyes, and you're not thinking of anything. The same thing as well. It applies to everything. So all meditation is the same. You don't think of anything. You just close the eyes and just repeat the name Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So you just keep repeating the name of the mantra over and over again. In the beginning, you do it verbally because it'll help you not to think of anything. And then once you get hold of this and you're doing it on a regular basis and regular basis and a regular basis, and then for a while after that, you can actually start chanting verbally. Okay, you can chant. You can chant inside, so you don't have to chant verbally anymore. So in the beginning you chant verbally, then later on you chant within. So you just think of it and chant the names of God just within. You can do it faster and faster as well, and you'll see that the more you chant, the more effect it has, positive effect. So the effect it has, because it also depends on the number of times you chant, how faithfully you chant, etc. But having faith is an amazing thing, but people don't have faith anymore these days. But it doesn't matter. You just need to chant the name, and don't think of anything else. Really, just focus on the sounds. Okay, that's it. So then there's another technique, another one. Really, it's just a variant really of this. This is another devotional bhakti aspect of meditation that people seem to have forgotten. Now what it is basically, it's known as Saguna meditation on the physical form of the divine. Okay, so how would you meditate? So the way you would meditate is actually, you would visualize a physical aspect of the divine. Now this is particularly useful for people who already have faith. Say if you're a devotee of Krishna, then you would obviously it'll be very useful for you to chant. It'd be very good for you to do this meditation. But if you had any faith in Buddha, Lord Buddha, or if you had faith in Lord Jesus Christ, or any of these great spiritual masters, and if you have any of those faith, you could actually do this meditation. So what it is, you just close your eyes, just like this great yogi, in this picture. He's sitting here, and what he's doing, he's actually he's thinking of Krishna, who's he's a Hindu god, but it doesn't have to be. So any sort of a divine representative, that you can think of would be fine. So even if you think of Christ, for instance, you can it'll apply to you as well. So basically, as soon as you have these great visualizations, you can actually get some divine vibrations just by visualizing the divine, because as soon as you're able to clearly visualize the divine, having a picture or something, some sort of a picture, of the mental picture established of the divine, you can receive these sort of divine vibrations within you automatically, and it's a healing process, and it's a very effective one. It's very powerful as well if done very effectively. You can actually receive divine vibrations and blessings and feelings of bliss just through Saguna meditation. You can meditate on any aspect of the divine. There's no sort of barrier to it, but just thinking of the divine in the mind, having a picture of the divine sort of thing. Not some just nothing there divine, but just having some sort of a picture of either a person or anything that you can associate with, because that helps you to connect with the divine through meditation. It's one of those effective ways. And now the next one obviously is a more sort of a complicated one. Now this is probably the last meditation technique I was going to share, and it's known as the Nirguna meditation, which is known as meditation on Om. See, Om is actually also a divine representation because it's the primal sound of creation. Then you heard of the Big Bang, that sound, the creation of that universe, that primal sound of creation is actually considered to be Om, and it is one of those. It's also known as the Bij mantra, the main mantra of all mantras. They're the powerful. It's a divine representation, this sound, and this symbol is basically of Om. And in Christianity, I guess it applies to Amen. They're the same thing, but the actual sound vibration is known as Om, and it's the source energy. Really, that's what it is. It's also a representation of the divine. And so in order to meditate on Om, there are different techniques really out there. And I wouldn't say mine is the best. This is the best way that I'm going to showing you, but there are different ways to meditate. One of the most easiest way for me to when I've actually done this is that I've just closed my eyes, just sitting just like this great yogi here, a colorful yogi, but I'm just sitting, close my eyes, thinking of nothing, but I'm starting to chant the vibration Om, so I close my eyes, I focus on this forehead area always, because that's a focal point which helps, right? And just focus on the spiritual eye, that's the focal point, and to get the energy from the divine, and then just chant Om or something like that, anything like that. So, but as long as you can chant with feeling, that's known as bhava, okay? Chanting on Om with bhava. Because Om is the primal sound of creation. It is the unmanifest form of the divine. It is the most powerful symbol, really, of the divine. And as soon as you chant Om with feeling, say you can chant, you don't even have to put your concentration here. You can just close your eyes and just chant Om. But the way you chant is if you can chant with feeling of love, as if you're trying to connect with the divine, or you can just, if you have this great love of the divine, you can't see it as but you want to feel that love, that divine love, pervading across from your heart chakra, which is your heart chakra here, across, all across the planet. So you want to spread the love from your heart to everybody else. You can just visualize it. And just chant Om, and that sound, your vibrations that come through with love, that of pure love, is of great power, and it also helps you to connect with the divine as well. But this is generally these techniques that I'm telling you about, especially this part, this meditation Om, is not for beginners. It's only for, as I'm saying, it's only for advanced practitioners, not for beginners. So if you just want to experiment, just go ahead. I would say no. You might see negative things, negative effects. It's only for people who've actually already mastered the yamas and niyamas and all these things in a pranayama, and then they can move into this stage of meditation. Okay, this is a very powerful meditation. It could have consequences because it's about dealing with chakras and spiritual connections, etc. So I wouldn't recommend one to just delve into this one, but just hold your thoughts and just leave this as a time being. But if you have practiced for many years and you haven't seen results or something, then definitely you can give this a shot. So what you do is, this idea is to connect with the divine. So just you can actually generate a feeling of love itself, and that love, you create this virtual atmosphere around you, saying you want to pervade your love across the universe, pervade your love to the Mother Earth, etc. That's sort of a feeling of bhava, and with that bhava, that feeling, and you chant the name Om, you will see that your heart chakra. It's a way to open the heart chakra, but it takes a lot of practice and time, but it's one of those ways. And the second part to it is known as meditation on the various chakra sounds. I mean, this is something you'd have to personally research and go through carefully and have a personally a guru or something, a master, to guide you, because I mean this is not something I can guide you or personally guide myself over over this video. However, the idea is that each there are actually there's 7 energy centers if you study the Sanatana Dharma text, and each energy center is representative of a chakra known as a chakra, and these chakras are actually have a specific symbol and also a specific tonality sound. For instance, the Ajna chakra, that's what we're focusing on, is okay, but the rest we need to be very aware before we do it. The Ajna chakra is obviously the primal sound is Om, whereas the primal sound of the heart chakra is Yam, Yam. It has to come from the within. When you actually when you meditate on these chakra sounds, you actually focus on each particular point one by one, and you're mentally focusing on each particular point but not think of anything, and you gradually either start from the top and you move down. You generally start from the bottom and you keep moving up. You think of these chakra points, you look at these chakra, visualize the chakra points where your mind is, and you create, and you just you vibrate those sounds from the body, like like that, so you need to, before you do this, you need to actually get some guidance. I wouldn't fully explain how this technique works myself, but that's the idea. This is another great sort of a technique for advanced practitioners. And then basically you need to resonate these sounds and symbols, and it's basically healing energies around your body. And then your final is your top chakra, known as the head chakra, Sahasrara chakra, and that's where this is the seat of God, so to speak. Okay, and then you generally so this is the way to do it, and you need to practice brahmacharya in order for you to actually practice on meditation on chakra sounds, if you want to do that. And it's a bit of a difficult thing. You need to be pure celibacy, etc. Anyway, hopefully you've found these techniques valuable, and I cannot stress how important this is, especially with the last one. But the remaining, you can practice them anytime when you want to, but you always, ideally, you would be having control over your diet and all these things, and try to become non-violent. All these yamas, niyamas, you can look them in Wikipedia. Just go to my website, dharmaonline.net, right? dharmaonline.net, and I've got this also this YouTube video, which I've got a link there, and I've got a YouTube, all these YouTube videos. I've got links to that YouTube channel as well from that website. So just go to the website and you can just browse through and see for further information, okay? And hopefully, and then you can just start sincerely practicing it, and the more you practice it, the more you'll benefit it. You don't have to go to different 29 gurus to get actual true advice. These are the core principles, I believe, and I've benefited them myself, and therefore I'm able to share it with you. Okay, I'm not a guru or anything like that, but hopefully these techniques will help you to find your true self within, that blissful state known as samadhi. That is the goal, and that is what we all need to achieve in life. All right, thank you very much.